Hey there, guys. So back here again, just covering some more intro stuff for the week, and I think for this one, right, we're going to talk a little bit about the peer review assignment and the term paper for this course. And because it plays such a fundamental role in this class, it's easy to get kind of conversations and misdirections and inclusions. It's also something that because it's easy to make mistakes or something like that. I want to make sure we really cover this in detail, and also to create this video so that you guys can watch it on your own, and then you can formulate questions and consult the syllabus, and then you can ask me, right? So basically, a continual reference point, right? So just as kind of an FYI about how this is being recorded, I'm looking at both the syllabus and what I have posted on the course stuff. So it should be relatively easy to track what I'm doing, and then you can ask questions. And so make sure I'm keeping myself straight, because I often like to talk off the top of my head. I don't know what I'm talking about. Frequently happens, trust me. Okay, so we're talking about for y'all for the theories of a crime and delinquency course, right? And so when we look at the syllabus, right, there's a couple things that you'll notice that you're graded on: a term paper as well as peer review assignments, right? So what are those exactly? So for every course in the theory, for every theory course in the major, everyone has to take theory. Everyone has to get a C- or better in order to continue the main major. Every single course has to have a term paper. And I've taught this course for several years, and something that I've noticed is that most students, most of the time, wait until the absolute last minute to start writing a paper, right? It's not uncommon for people to start writing it 2 weeks out or 1 week out, and that was back when we were on quarters. And what the problem ended up being is that many people would do shoddy work, and they would either take a hit to their GPA or not score high enough to get a C- to continue on in the main major, right? So then they have to retake the class. They're either seeing me again or seeing another professor. And while no one, while we do believe you love seeing us, say it all the time, we really maybe don't want to see you in that context, right? So what I've decided to do is that this is sort of an experiment. We're going to try something new and see if we can maybe increase better outcomes, ensure that you guys are working on it. And the way that we're going to do this is to have a scaffolded learning assignment for this term paper. So what do I mean by that? So with the scaffolded assignment, what's going to end up happening is that you're working on the paper throughout the entire semester, right? So assignment 1 is one component of the paper. Assignment 2 is the second component of the paper. Assignment 3 is the third component, and so on, right? What ends up happening is that as you're scaffolding, right, building off of it, you are receiving feedback throughout the way, right? So if something needs to be adjusted, you receive feedback. Please correct this. This is what you need to do at the long end. While it'll seem like a lot of work, right, it's also the same amount of work that you would put in at the term paper at the end, but you have the benefit of receiving feedback. You're able to make changes, and because the assignments are spread out, right, they have different point values. It's not so much of a either make it all at the end. It's not it's not a make or break situation, because it's broken up, right, and you have the opportunity to correct, receive feedback, make revisions, right, and that's why I do that. The second part that we're doing that's a little bit different from normal is that most of the time students rely on my feedback, right? And not to say my feedback is not important. I mean, it is, and I will continue to give feedback as I see fit, but we're also going to implement a peer review system. So what do I mean by that? So for each of the scaffolded assignments that have to be done, that are going to be recorded this semester, you will submit an assignment, right? So the list of peer review assignments is in the peer review assignment information and submission folder, right? It has a list of every peer review assignment, what's expected of you, and what you have to do. There are also all the rubrics that are in there that each assignment's graded by. So first thing that you should do is to look at the assignments and then look at the rubrics for the description, point values, and such. The twist on this, though, is that normally it would just be me giving feedback, but this is going to be a little bit different, right? So instead, what we're going to do is to add on to my feedback by having your peers review each other's work, right? So not only are you just submitting and giving it to me, right, you're submitting work that's going to be evaluated by other people in the classroom. Why do we do this, right? So, I mean, that's the first thing is like, I understand some frustration, like why I'm going to be judged by my peers. The point of it is to do a couple things, right? So one is that it helps by looking at the same information, right? And you're giving constructive feedback to someone. You're telling someone how to improve the paper. And keep that in mind, right? The goal is to be like how you improve something, not necessarily just to say, great job, sport. Like, we don't want that. But what we do want is to give, like, how can I improve this based off of, since we're absorbing the same content, right? This does a couple things. One, it allows you to look at someone else's paper, see possible shortcomings in their paper, and then maybe adjust your own based off of received feedback. It also encourages, the feedback requires you to use the syllabus, or excuse me, to use the rubric to make a grade, make a judgment on it. So you're looking at the rubric, you're seeing how points are allocated, and then you're also seeing how I'm going to grade the final term paper as well, because I use the exact same criteria. So the point being is that because you're using it, you're using the rubric, you have an idea of what's going in my head as a grader, and hopefully that you can make adjustments and change. It's also important to analyze other people's work to see how you can help someone else grow and improve, as well as like help yourself grow and improve as well. So the way that this is going to work is that if you look at the course schedule at the end of the syllabus, right, you'll see a week where peer review assignment 1's due. Now, peer review assignment 1 is listed in the peer review assignment folder, and you complete it, right? So those submissions are always going to be due on the Friday of the week that's listed. Starting that Saturday, everyone will have a chance to evaluate other people's work. And everyone has to evaluate 3 other people's work, right? So you can't just do 1 or 2 or 3, you have to do 3. Let's say, for example, though, that you decide that you want to evaluate other peers, right? In that case, if you did 0, you get 0 points for that assignment, right? If you did 1, you get 1/3 of the total points that you would have earned. 2 is 66%, and grading 3 other people is, you get full credit of points that you would earn, right? So there's really an incentive to do it, because if you don't evaluate your peers, then you're not going to get credit, right? So what I'll do, though, is that I'll look at the feedback, I'll make my own judgments, I'll make adjustments as necessary, and you have a right to appeal that, and this is all laid out in the syllabus. But the point being is that you're working on this throughout, you're receiving feedback constantly from other people learning the course, you're receiving feedback from me, and you're hearing it from multiple people, right? So hopefully this should lead to a stronger paper overall. It makes the term paper less anxiety producing, and you stay engaged with the content, because not only do you have to see how to write your own work, right, but you have to be knowledgeable enough to give constructive feedback to someone else, right? Because if you're not giving good feedback, and that's because you don't know the material, then you're not really helping someone, right? So this assignment is built around helping each other as well as helping yourself throughout the course, right? So the thing is, right, as I've already said, the peer review assignments build off of the final term paper, and every assignment is part of it. You'll see if you stack them all up, the final rubric for the term paper models all the criteria I use in the other rubrics, so you are familiar with how you're being evaluated because you're working on it at the same time. No surprises at the end, right? So basically for the term paper and for all the assignments you'll talk about, I'll ask you to select a theory, to give its assumptions, its backgrounds, how it predicts crime, criteria to evaluate a theory, how does this theory explain correlates in crime, policy recommendations, and whether or not to make a judgment if a theory is good or bad. These are all things that you'll do through the peer review assignments that other people will give you feedback on. And so it's hopefully good, and you will learn a lot more in this way rather than just waiting until the last minute to do the paper. As a note to this, so all these assignments are graded blindly. I don't know who submits what, you don't know who submits what, so never put your name on any of these assignments. You maybe want to put a title, you want to put in headings, you want to put in a bibliography, sources and such. But know that don't put your name on it because these are graded blindly. We don't want someone to judge you, but you should receive that feedback when you don't know who the evaluator is, and they don't know who you are, so you shouldn't feel judged for that. So keep that in mind, that this is blind feedback that is meant solely to be constructive, to help you out throughout the quarter. So hopefully this is something that's supposed to be really great for students. I want y'all to succeed, and I know the fact that you guys are in higher education, it means other people believe you can succeed, and the fact that you're in college means all of you can succeed. I just want to put you guys on the best path forward, so you don't have to retake the class or struggle in the future. Hopefully, though, the analytical skills you learn from doing this paper, as well as interacting with each other, should improve things, and it should make you better equipped to finish your coursework at Cal State, as well as pursuing graduate work. That's something that you want to do, or other research projects, or if you want to work on a research project with another professor or something like that. This should really equip you well to do that. So with that said, I'll trust you guys to read the rubrics on your own, to look at the assignments that are due, to look at the term paper, as well as the course schedule to figure out when things are due. And should any questions pop up, please contact me. I want to be a source of help. Really, if you have any questions, or you need an accommodation, or you need help with something, remember, you don't get if you don't ask, right? So I'm here as a resource for you. Don't feel like you're interrupting me, because you're not. I'm here to help you out. So I'm always available during email, or if you want to Zoom office hour me, that's also great. But until then, hope this is helpful. Happy to answer any outstanding clarifying questions. And yeah, hope you're having a good day. But until then, see y'all later.